Welcome back or welcome, whether you're new or you're back, you're a regular listener. This is Sub Me In number 35, and I am your host, Rian. Just fixing my hair right here. I feel like it's not fixed. I feel a little weird. Anyways, alright, let's start this. You can't just head over to iTunes and always check out the audio version only if you're on the go, pretty much. Other than that, you're here on YouTube. We got some exciting stuff here. Starting off with question of the week of the podcast. Hopefully, I'm not getting any answers for the other ones, but I'm not going to be stopping with the questions here. I just, like to get to know people. So feel free to answer my questions down in the comment section, all right? Anytime you want. Anytime you're ready, anytime you want. So here we go. What did you guys believe as a child that you can't believe you believed? That's a lot of belief in there. But it's pretty much thinking like, what is the dumbest thing you believed as a child? Is what I'm trying to say. Just to simple it down. For example, for me, when I was a kid, there's a couple of things I believed. Like I used to think honestly, Texas was at the other side of the world. So I thought when we were in the day over here in the north side, in Chicago, I would think that Texas was nighttime. I don't know. For some reason, I didn't think it was just 14 hours away. But yeah, that's one of them. Another thing was if you ate seeds from fruits, that you would grow them eventually they would grow inside you. Say I accidentally ate an apple seed. I would think, oh my god, what do I do now? An apple tree is gonna grow inside me. That was another one. There's a few out there, but those are just a few examples of what I believed as a kid. And then I look back and I'm like, wow, I was an idiot. Alright, that's question of the week. If you guys got anything ridiculous, more ridiculous than I do, feel free to let me know. Just shoot it down in the comments. At me at Twitter. You can always find my social media at the description box below. So it's pretty much Instagram and Twitter. Should be around 312 with the same thing. So you can hit me up there and be like, yo, answer to the question. Or something. I'll put some posts related to it as well. But where's my other thing here? I lost it. For the great big story. Oh my god, I did lose it. Here we go. Right behind my computer. Alright, like I said, I usually like to normally here at the Summy and Podcast, I like to talk about positive stuff or interesting things, weird stories, stuff that you don't really see on the news, but can be pretty interesting, and you just want to look into it. Uh-oh. Don't play that. Do not play that. So I use this app called The Great Big Story. I'm gonna load this real quick. And it's got some pretty interesting stuff in here. For example, the one we're going to be looking up today is climbing great heights for honey. So, twice a year, about 80 miles outside Kathmandu, Nepal, villagers from Bojung embark on a centuries-old quest. Now, this is apparently tradition. I don't know if it's tradition, but they go on a voyage, on a mission, pretty much to get honey. And where this honey lies is honeybees, obviously, right? And they post up on a cliff. I want to say it's kind of like that cliff if you've seen the Mowgli, the Jungle Book. You see Baloo sending I think he's first trying to climb it, and there's the hives and the cliffs, on the sides of the cliffs, and then he ends up sending Mowgli up there. Pretty much like that. You know how he was climbing? Pretty much like that. That's what they do. So here's the thing. They're pretty much like Mowgli, where he didn't have any protection. You know, sometimes when we're gathering bees over here, we got those bee suits. Well, these guys don't wear no bee suits. It's kind of like Mowgli style, where it's just they're exposed pretty much. So they're up there climbing, getting like chunks of the hives with a stick, and it's literally just picturing Mowgli from the Jungle Book. But so sometimes the bees die. They don't want to kill the bees, but I mean it's part of the job. Bees do end up dying, especially when they sting you. So when they sting them, the bees end up dying, right? So throughout the time, they'd like to apologize. Before going on this adventure, of course, they go to this, I think he's a priest, I believe he was a priest. And he wishes them luck. He does this prayer for them. And he takes like, I forgot the guy's name. Marang Singh Gurung takes his fellow men, his fellow young soldiers. They're not soldiers, I just like to say. Proteges. Apprentices. I don't know. He takes these guys and they go climbing. And then before, you know, while they're like back to where I was at, while they're taking the hives, chunks of the hives, they pray. They not pray. They apologize to the bees, you know, for killing them and stuff. So, enduring bee stings and hanging from handmade rope ladders, Madhana Singh Gurung and his fellow honey hunters defy death to gather precious liquid gold. It's a tradition. Oh, see, it was a tradition. It's a tradition that links past and present. One Madan feels it has been his destiny since birth. So yeah, he was talking about in the video. He was talking about, you know, saying since I was a kid, I wanted to be a honey hunter. And you know, I just felt like it was destiny. So that's pretty cool. You know, he's following what he believes he was born to do. So that's cool. I just respect these guys. I just wanted to talk about this and say that I respect these guys for you know, going up there. It's really high up, and normally people would panic, you know, right when they're getting bee stings, and you know they'd probably be like, oh shoot, and like go off the ladder or something. Because people, the way they react is like, you know, they kind of like a mosquito bite, or like they panic and they move and they move and shimmy, you know, and you know it's for them to endure stings, kind of continuous stings, bee stings, and still hang on into the ladders. That's crazy, man. And just for some honey. But you know, they gather lots of, I think it was like 600 to 800 liters of honey that they gathered. It was quite a lot, but you know, it's so much respect for me, you know, like for them to do that. It's tradition. It's just awesome, you know, to see something going on like that. Anyways, that's the great big story that I don't want to talk about. You know, for me, like even myself, when I'm ever encountering bees, I'm like, whoa, chillax. You know, I don't mess with you. You don't mess with me, right? Obviously, as a kid, I've been stung a couple of times, and it's painful. It's pretty painful. You know, the places I've been stung was in the hands, in my butt, and then, you know, obviously I was a kid and I would cry. You know, so now as a grown man, I mean, I haven't been stung. You know, the last time I was stung was probably in my elementary school, so it's been a while, but. Maybe now I'll probably endure, you know, be like, you know, kind of like, you know, maybe, you know, I mean, I've had tattoos, so pretty sure I can imagine it's can't compare it to say maybe a little, you know, it's like a burning sensation of a sting, you know. So I could probably withstand a bee sting right now, but many bee stings, probably not. I'd be like cursing like a motherfucker, you know. But so I respect it. These guys have a lot of respect. I give them a lot of respect. All right, so moving on to some video game stuff, real quick. I was talking about the PS5 in the last on number 34 in the last episode of the Subian. New PS5 details came out. That apparently the PS5 will learn from the players. I don't know like the whole thing about this, what it's talking about, what it means. But let's see if I can find a little. October of last year seems to suggest the console will be even more powerful than previous hints made out to be. I'm just going to skim through it. Let's see. The latest patent hints at a console that will be able to learn from the players who are using it, customizing the play experience to better suit the device's owner. So the PlayStation 5 has been the subject of a lot of speculation. Okay, so let's see. The rumors suggested that the console will be getting revealed at some point in 2019 with a 2020 launch date to follow. The timing of that announcement would make sense. The PlayStation 4, yep, they had weak profits in 2018. We talked about the Nintendo Switch actually being the number one console. Well, in Japan, I don't know about here in the States or anywhere in the world, but pretty sure not many people bought the PS4. So it's about time, because a lot of people already had, like they've bought it in the past or they've had it. So it's about time that the announcement of the PS5 will be coming out. So, well, the PS5 coming out is about time. It's about that time. We've had we talked about some games already being announced for the PS5. So I was talking about some YouTuber talking about it. So this will be something new, obviously, if it's able to learn from the players. Generally, a video game and video game... This is what he said, the YouTuber. Generally, a video game and video game assistants are adapted to a player. For example, a narrative of the video is personalized to an experience level of the player. Similarly, assistants in interacting with a particular context of the video game is also personalized. The personalization learns from historical interactions of players who the video game and optionally other video games. In an example, a deep learning neural network is implemented to generate knowledge from the historical interactions. The personalization is set according to knowledge. And it shows a little diagram of like how it's supposed to function. Can't really describe it. It shows a little guy with the PlayStation, game session data, video game system. It's a bunch of arrows and stuff. So what it does, however, is it gives analysts a rough idea of where the future of Sony could be in machine learning and player personalization technology. The latest patent suggests that the console could feature a customized game UI that is tailored to a player's needs, or the ability to monitor how a player is performing during the game's more challenging parts and adjust the difficulty to suit their play specifically. It would be a degree of nuance that is unheard of, especially as a platform-wide feature. So that is what I'm reading is something really futuristic, pretty much. The PS5 is kind of what it seems it's going to be kind of like an Alexa kind of type of thing, where it's an AI maybe. I mean, obviously, if it's by the way, the YouTuber was Skolzy, whose quote I read. But that's interesting, a PS5 that learns your playing style or the way you play. So it's pretty much like, but the thing is, like, say I get it, I'm an adult, and it learns from me, and then I let my cousin play. Like, say I would let my little cousin play or something, or a younger kid. Will that revamp it, like relearn that from him, and then put me in an easier difficulty? Because say he wasn't that good at video games, right? And he just messes up everything. So that's something to, like, will there be an on feature or non feature? That's my question. Or will it be like play it one time, first time, and then that's how it's gonna keep it? Like it will, or is it for each game? I don't know why I'm hiccuping so much. So there's still a bunch of questions I have about that. Like, is it learning from each game, or is it learning overall? Is there an on and off feature for it? Or is it always going to be updating the way you play? Because sometimes I could play bad in some games but good in other games. So that's gonna be interesting. There wasn't anything much about movies. It's just that some movies, moving on to movies off video games now. Captain Marvel did come out. I heard mixed reviews on it. Some people were saying good, some people were saying bad. Obviously with the premiere as well. For those who were able to see it, probably celebrities, I don't know. Also mixed reviews there. So I haven't seen it. I have yet to watch it. So that's interesting. But, with that being said, I wanted to talk about some great movies with bad endings. There was a list, 10. I was going through it. I didn't see most of them. There's a couple that I'm going to watch. But one of them was Bird Box from Netflix. I remember when this came out, everybody was talking about it. Everybody was saying, "Oh my God, Bird Box! You gotta watch Bird Box. You have to watch Bird Box. What a great movie! What a scary movie!" And then the Bird Box challenge came out with the blindfold and stuff. Bird Box for me, I decided afterwards I had to watch it after everybody's comments, and for me, Bird Box was. It could have been. It was pretty great. It was overhyped. To me, it was overhyped. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was overhyped for me. I liked it. I liked the whole, like, wow, what is going on? What are these creatures that are making people, once you see them, make you go crazy? Either kill yourself or be one of those followers who, and end up getting people to take off their blindfolds, But the ending was so disappointing, Like, I was like, one, I think I never got to see these creatures that seemed that got my attention, Two, the ending was just so, like, I was like, what? That's it? Like, that's how it ends? Like, that was oh my, I don't know. It was just like, I don't know. It left me hanging, It was just like, it was like, there was no solution to it. They were stuck, like they were in this shelter that this blind guy created. I don't want to spoil anything, but if you haven't watched it, just skip over this or something. Skip like 10 minutes of this, but I mean, you'll see that I shouldn't even say it anymore. Like, it was just like, I don't know. It wasn't solved. Nothing was solved. There was no solution to it, and that's sad. I got it. It just made everything pointless. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm listening to Anna. I can hear her. She's like barking. I don't know what it is, but maybe she's seen something. Another movie though was Infinity War. Obviously, for the comic book readers, they knew what was going to happen. The snapping with the Thanos with the snapping, and again, if you haven't watched it, I'm sorry that I'm spoiling it for you. And all these heroes dying. But the thing that ruined that movie was that Marvel already had announced, before the movie came out, they announced that they had these 20 other films that they were going to make. They had announced like Black Panther 2, the new Spider-Man movie, like Far From Home. So it was like, what? When I watched Infinity War, then I was like, well, for those who didn't know anything about the comics or anything, like, say you were just a casual watcher, this is the first time you're watching these heroes, and then you see them die, and you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Like, we already know there's going to be a Black Panther 2 and a Spider-Man, a second Spider-Man movie. So why? It's just the way they went with the whole. They shouldn't have announced anything, Like, it's Marvel, it's the MCU, creators, developers, whatever team that kind of ruined the movies, It ruined the ending of Infinity War, like, because it made no sense. Like, yeah, some kids were, I don't know, like, when I went to go watch it, some kids were crying behind me and stuff. But I was like, wait, why are you guys crying? You guys should know that it's gonna be okay. They're gonna come back to life, because they announced like second sequels to these heroes that just died. So it was like, I don't know, to me, if you were a person who thinks, they were just like, what's going on here? So a third one would be Titanic. Another good movie that had a really bad ending, not only because the door thing, the door, Jack could have survived. They proved it, but Mythbusters busted a myth. He could have survived. They both could have fit in the door, but even then, like, even if they couldn't, they honestly could have taken turns. 10 minutes each, one gets off, the other gets on, and then switch flip flop. What, they didn't even think about that stuff. Well, I don't know. It's Rose, but the whole thing about the whole movie, the point of the movie was in the beginning with like the necklace, Rose's necklace, and then like that's pretty much starts the whole movie, and then towards the end of the movie, she just casually throws it away into the ocean. I don't know if you noticed that, if you paid attention, but she casually throws it away. And, it's just like, I was like, what? That necklace could have mean something. It could have been an heirloom or something to her family. But she just threw it away like nothing. Like, the whole movie began with the necklace, and it was obviously a point. Like, the whole story was because of the necklace, and she just threw it away like nothing. Like it was a piece of bread and you were giving it to a duck to eat. That made no sense to me. But yeah, that's two parts of the Titanic that had bad endings right there. That's out of like 10 movies. There's a couple of movies on that list that I do want to get to, and eventually I probably will see. And I didn't want to read into it because I don't want them to spoil it for me as well. I hope I didn't spoil anything for you guys either. If you guys hadn't watched any of these 3 movies, I apologize if I did. I should have said spoilers alert. But yeah, I'll go watch a couple of these movies, see how good they are, and then think about the endings because apparently they have bad endings. Last thing I just wanted to talk about real quick. Oh, by the way, the thing about the dog being reunited, that owner that I talked about last week, the man reuniting the dog. Well, something similar happened to me this like 2 days ago on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. I was going late to work because of the whole time change, and I was getting into my car, and then like a dog was there, and I was like, oh my god. Well, it was windy here in Chicago. It was windy, so I'm guessing maybe the wind blew the fence open or something, and then the dog got out. But it ended up going to my house. It ended up being in my house, and at first I was freaking out because it was a huge dog. But I was like, I played it cool. I was like, hey, little buddy, just let's meet up easy, not cause any panic. But eventually, I tried finding the collar. Didn't have anything. They didn't have no phone numbers, which eventually I probably would have called if I wasn't successful in reuniting with its owner. But I was like, what? I got 20 minutes to work. I got to get this dog to its rightful owners, if anything. So I went around first my street, knocked on everybody's house to see if they were missing a dog. Eventually, somebody was like, "Whoa, yeah, that's my dog." But obviously, I had to make sure it was their dog. So I asked, well, there's a little tag on it. I asked them about the tags and stuff. And obviously it was right. They were right. They were able to guess, their dog's name and stuff. So it belonged to them. And I did see that their fence was open. So, successful reuniting a dog. I was able to reunite a dog as well with its owner. So that was kind of funny how I was talking about it. I talked about a story before that. And then like 7 days later or 5 days later, I'm in the same situation. Don't worry, guys. I reunited a dog as well, so that felt good. I actually wanted to talk about one more thing, but probably gonna run out of time, so that'll be it. I am gonna talk soccer talk next, so we'll see some interesting things. So more interesting things that I wanted to talk about and then get to. But yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into soccer talk next. So, but yeah, remember. Question: what did you believe as a kid that you can't believe that you believed? Look at that, tongue twister. Alright, we'll be back. Let's see what we got here. I wanted to talk about Neymar's 10 moments in 10 years because recently it's been his, I would say, 10-year anniversary of his rise to fame or something like that. He's had some downfalls. He's had some some great moments, some embarrassing moments, but it's Neymar. Hate him or love him, he's had it good. He's had it good. I'm not gonna lie. All right, 10 moments in 10 years. So, obviously, 10 years ago, he was 17 years old. By the name of Neymar, he was brought into the final hour of Santos clash with Oeste in a small stadium in Sao Paulo that he would go on to become the most expensive player in the world of football. All right, so first thing, professional debut with Santos. In 2009, Neymar made his debut at the age of 17 years, 1 month and 2 days with the number 18 on his back. So it was 31 minutes in a 2-1 win, and his dribbling was quickly noticed. A week later, he scored his first goal. We can't say that Neymar is going to be the new Robinho or the new Pele. We must have patience, said his first coach. Mancini. Mancini. All right, and he became the champion of South America. In 2011, he had a continent at his feet as Santos defeated Peñarol 2-1 in the return leg of the Copa Libertadores final, with Neymar and former Real Madrid right back Danilo scoring the goals. As a result, 48 years of waiting came to an end. He still has to score 1,283 goals with this shirt, was Pele's response when he asked about his heir. All right, so his great exhibition with Santos. From the moment of his debut, he often gave examples of his immense quality. But his biggest exhibition came on October 29th, 2011 with Santos, as he scored every goal in a 4-1 win over Atlético Paranaense. He said, "I was very happy. This is wonderful. It is history," with tears running down his eyes. Tears. That's what one of my old teachers used to do. Tears down my eyes. So he did. They didn't lose the Club World Cup loss in 2011. But it brought an iconic moment in his career as Santos faced his future team, Barcelona, in the Club World Cup final. They were beaten 4-0 by Pep Guardiola's men, but Neymar took home the tournament's bronze ball. He said, "Barcelona taught us how to play football. I don't know if they are unbeatable, but today they're the best team in the world." Barcelona arrival. We're moving on to the future in 2013, May 25th. This was one of the longest of his life. Was one of the longest of his life, as Santos announced that they had accepted offers from both Barcelona and Real Madrid, and they left the choice in the hands of the player. Neymar said, "I'm proud, and this is the happiest moment of my life. So I'll think of these two proposals with love, and I'm going to decide with my family." A day later, Barcelona announced his signing for an initial 54 million euros plus a further 5 million euros in bonuses and a 10 million euros for the player's father, because his dad was his manager, I think, or is his manager. And then the World Cup came, the 2010 World Cup, and it was probably one of the worst moments of his life, maybe. One of them. So he was on his way to becoming Brazil's all-time top scorer and has 60 goals to Pele's 77, but he hasn't had any luck with his country. His World Cup experiences have been tremendously painful. And in 2014, at his World Cup, 2014, my fault, not 2010, he bowed out early due to an injury, following a challenge from Juan Zuniga, which fractured a bone in his back. And then Brazil lost 7-1 against Germany. Yeah. In Russia last year, the Selecao exited to Belgium at the quarterfinal stage, and Neymar received great criticism. Why? Because of his flopping, obviously. So, again, World Cups are Neymar's thing. It's kind of like Messi. They don't work out for him. A treble with Luis Enrique. His contribution was key in the treble win for Barcelona in 2015, particularly in the Champions League, and from the quarterfinal phase onwards, he scored in every round. He got 3 in the last 8 against PSG, 3 against Bayern Munich, and at the semi-final stage, and completed the scoring in a 3-1 final win over Juventus. He was the top scorer in the Champions League and Copa del Rey, while only Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo scored more in La Liga. The great comeback. On March 8th, 2017, Neymar celebrated what is his biggest night with Barcelona. The Catalans didn't appear to have much a chance of overturning a 4-0 first leg deficient agent PSG. But Neymar put the team on his back and scored twice in the 88th and 91st minute before setting up Sergi Roberto to complete an astonishing comeback in a 6-1 win. And then the PSG transfer, which Neymar was torn between going and staying at the Camp Nou in the summer of 2017, before the bombshell was dropped in early August that he was leaving for PSG, who had met his 222 million euros release clause. In Paris, he has scored 48 goals in 53 games and provided 27 assists, and he's gone on top with every domestic honor. And then Champions League this year, he gets injured, misses both. Well, let's see, Champions League injuries and eliminations. So he was signed by PSG to deliver on their Champions League obsession, but his 2 years there have ended in the last 16 eliminations. He missed a return leg against Real Madrid and both games against Manchester United, though injury in what has been a frustrating time. And we are here today now, where apparently he's been offered even more money by Real Madrid. I don't know if there's anything going on with that, but Real Madrid are making moves for him. But we'll see what happens for Neymar's future. Honestly, I think Barcelona don't need him, so there's no chance. I don't think Barcelona should buy him. He does say he wants to return to Spain. Apparently, in Paris, he's not really enjoying himself there. But if he is to move to Spain, back to Spain, then obviously the move for him would be Real Madrid, especially now since they need help. Which we'll talk about Real Madrid in a bit. But first, I want to talk about Zidane. So there was something I wanted to talk about. Job offers for Zidane. He had his choices were Madrid, return to Real Madrid, go to PSG, go to Chelsea, and go to Juventus. I wanted to talk about, what to expect. So Chelsea was like with the team. So Chelsea was the complicated option, obviously, because we probably can see that they will not be going to Champions League next year or the Europa League at this moment. So they were probably the toughest one. But obviously they do need somebody like Zidane. I mean, a coach like him. But it would have been a tough choice for him because he would have been missing out on Champions League action, even Europa League action. So that's probably something he probably would have wanted to avoid. And then Manchester United could have probably used him, but breaking news, I think Solskjaer was actually offered the job there, so that was obviously not an option. That's why Manchester United were not included in the 4 teams. PSG, why would he want to do that? It was because their aim is to conquer Europe. Obviously, Champions League is something the PSG wants to win. They haven't won it. I don't know if they've won a Champions League before, but if they have, it's been a while like then. So that could have been something. I mean, they have a stacked team. They could have used a coach like Zidane to bring them some, in order for them to accomplish that goal of conquering Europe, because they could be pretty much a Real Madrid. I think they could be a Real Madrid that was like the Real Madrid that won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. With a coach like Zidane, I think they could have accomplished that. But so yeah, there's that option. Juventus, he could go back with Cristiano Ronaldo, and the Champions League pursuit. Juventus is strong. Honestly, it's also a strong. It's kind of like PSG as well. It's also a pretty stacked team for me, and obviously their goal also is to win the Champions League. They've been trying to. They were so close last time, but Ronaldo himself stopped them. And now that they had Ronaldo, they have a stacked team. They're undefeated. They're like conquering Italy, even though Italy is a pretty, not as competitive as like La Liga or Premier League, but it's still a good record there that they're doing. So he could have gone with Juventus. And what I'm saying is past tense is because of a reason why. I mean, let's just say he went with Real Madrid, but he could have gone with Juventus for a chance for him to get them a Champions League win. So yeah, and obviously Real Madrid, an anticipated return. I mean, obviously we've seen what he did with Real Madrid. Obviously, Real Madrid would be a huge, kind of like Chelsea. It's just like it's not as complicated as Chelsea because at least they can actually still make it to Champions League next year. All he would have to do is rebuild a team in Real Madrid. And obviously, like, I just wanted to ask a question. What would you guys, if you guys were Zidane, where would you have gone with knowing the things that these teams are going with these 4 teams? Where would you have gone? That's the question for Soccer Talk. And obviously, he went with Real Madrid, and his first goal is to rebuild the team, obviously, which I've already seen that he's making moves already. He's got some players in mind. Somebody already said, I forget his name, but he pretty much said that before he left, he told Florentino what he had to do in order to keep Real Madrid successful. And obviously, Florentino, being an idiot, the idiot that he is, did the complete opposite of what Zidane pretty much advised him to do. I think it was, don't look for a goalkeeper. Keylor Navas is still good. Just make sure to get him and Cristiano Ronaldo on good terms. I think something was going on with them. I'm not sure. And pretty much sell Bale. Sell him for some cash and get new players, right? Florentino did the opposite. He went to go get Courtois and kept Bale and sold Ronaldo. Look what happened. Now people want him out. That's just crazy. I don't know. But yeah, so it's interesting to see. He's making moves already. I mean, I've seen, like I said, Real Madrid offering like 300 million, I think, to Neymar, which I don't know if that's. I don't think that's official. I think that was just rumored. I can't seem to find it. So, oh, here it is. Real Madrid preparing a record. Oh, they're preparing a record-breaking 350 mil offer to Neymar. I don't know if they went with that after, because afterwards Zidane accepted the job offer to Real Madrid, and he said, "Where's the ones with his story with it's today?" So he was promised 300 million transfer overhaul for Real Madrid return. Florentino pretty much accepted that and gave him that much budget to spend on players. And Zidane himself already said that, who does he want? He's targeting Kanté as his top transfer target for Real Madrid. I've seen. Oh, look at this. Isco and Marcelo laughing. Bale crying. Winners and losers of the Don's Madrid return. Okay, so, well, yeah, he did want Bale. He's most likely going to sell Bale, probably. I can see that happening. Let's see. Real Madrid president, Neymar, Mbappe. I choose both. Of course he would. There's no way Mbappe is going to leave PSG, though. He says he chooses to stay in France. So Mbappe is out of the question. Real Madrid make first contact for 100 million for Hazard. So they've already made contact with Hazard. No noise, this computer. And let's see. Zidane expected to reignite his interest in Mane this summer. So he's already making moves there. Look at that. While Barcelona get the Ligt, and he chooses to join the Ligt, I don't know if it's how you say his name, chooses to join Barca is Ajax, are happy to sanction the 70 million euro move. So that's 2 players that Barcelona is getting from Ajax. They're not bad either. I actually like Frankie de Jong, and the Ligt is pretty good too. So Barca's making smart moves there. So that's a couple of news that we see there going on. What else is going on? I think that's it. So let's just talk about Champions League now. We'll see what happens with So yeah, Solskjaer set to be named permanent boss for Man United during the international break. Solari is out. Zidane is back. Zidane is making moves. Kanté as his top target. We're gonna talk Champions League in a bit. I think that's about everything that's interesting. Ramos apologizing. Real Madrid President Neymar or Mbappe actually both. Yeah, there's a couple of things that were going on. We mentioned a bit, but yeah, that's everything. So let's talk about Let's talk about Champions League now. Round of 16 for today: Juventus and Atletico Madrid. Let me get this. The matches. Okay, here we go. Man City versus Schalke 4. I think Man City is going to pass easily. Well, not easily, but they're up by 1 goal in aggregate, I believe, in goals. Where was it? I had it just right here, man. I just do it like this. So, yeah, 3-2 on aggregate. I think Man City will win probably 2-0 here, 2-1 or something. Juventus, I think they can put against Atletico Madrid. They are down by 2 in aggregate. I think Juventus can still pull it off, especially when they're playing home here today and Tuesday. I think Ronaldo, if Ronaldo plays, whatever, I think even if he doesn't, I think they'll be fine. 3-0, I think it's going to finish. I think that's how they're going to win. I think Juventus is going to win 3-0 against Atletico Madrid today. And then Juventus advancing. Obviously, there's been word that a few Real Madrid players want Atletico Madrid to win, and they want Ronaldo and Juventus knocked out of the Champions League. Shows who your true friends are, right? Who your true comrades are. Haters. And then Barcelona versus Lyon tomorrow, 0-0 at the moment. But I think Barcelona and Camp Nou, no way they'll lose. Lyon is confident, though. They said they can take down, I forgot which player said it. One of the players said they can take down Barcelona. But at Camp Nou, I don't believe so. I think Barcelona will win 2-0, 3-0, some type of way like that. But Barcelona for sure. They're my number 1 pick, obviously, to winning the whole thing. And then Bayern Munich versus Liverpool. It is 0-0 as well. It's going to be tough for Liverpool. This is a good game. Honestly, this is probably the best of these games. Well, I anticipated. I was saying that this might be the most competitive one. And I think that Liverpool will win 1-0. They're going to pull it off. Yeah, that's what I think. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this week and who advances and what's going on. So far, my predictions are wrong. I thought, honestly, I was going for Manchester United, but I thought PSG was actually going to beat them. But Man United came back. I can't remember what I said about Porto and Roma. I might have said Roma, I'm not going to lie. So, and then Porto won. So, and then Real Madrid and Ajax. Yep, I thought Real Madrid was going to advance. Ajax surprisingly annihilated them, and then Borussia and Tottenham. Yeah, I've been wrong so far. So I might be wrong here too, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's the end of Soccer Talk. That's the end of the podcast. Sum me in. Number 35. Thank you for watching. If you watched both parts, if you watched the whole video on YouTube, make sure to hit me up on those questions. Let me know whether it's Soccer Talk or the other soccer. I don't know what Real Talk or something. I don't know what to call it. It's just like news stories and stuff. But make sure to let me know. Make sure to follow me on my social medias, Instagram, Twitter. It's mostly where I'm at. You can probably find me on like Facebook, but I'm not on that so much. Not much of a Facebook person, but yeah. Stay tuned for more content. I am going to Japan in 2 weeks, so we'll see how it goes for that week. I think I'll still do a sum in, but no live stream. Live streams again. I originally did have a schedule. I tried to keep it, but my schedule always changes. I've been busy, especially these last couple of weeks, and I'll be busy as hell in the next couple of weeks because of the trip. So, but yeah, just hit the bell for notifications. Whenever videos comes up, whenever live stream comes up. Hopefully there's some changes in the future. So yeah, thanks. Thank you. Have a good day. Have a great day. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see what happens in football and the rest of the world. All right. Good stuff.